Smile just did early screenings yesterday. Um, this was a pretty cool. I love when movies do early screenings on Tuesdays. Those are really cool. I gotta say though, I had the worst audience for this, so I didn't go to my normal theater because I had taken the day off in advance because I had something going on that day. So, anyways, I went to a different theater to go watch this movie, and there was this fat black lady who kept laughing and snickering and making jokes during the whole movie. And you're like, lady, this ain't your damn couch. Shut the hell up. A lot of people were laughing at weird points in the movie. Like none of this movie really isn't funny at all. There's like one or two moments that are supposed to be mildly funny, but for the most part, this is a pretty tense horror movie with a shit ton of jump scares. Um, the trailers for this movie were very bad, but in terms of like viral marketing, how they had those people standing at football games creepily smiling in the background, they've done a really good job at marketing this movie other than the actual trailer itself. The trailer itself makes it look like a very generic horror movie, which in some ways it is. This movie is about a character who inherits a curse and has to survive that curse. Very much like The Ring or The Grudge or things like that. Very similar to those movies. And again, this movie has a shit ton of jump scares. And I think a lot of true horror fans will hear that this movie has a lot of jump scares and go, back off. Because jump scares are some of the laziest forms of horror you'll ever see in a horror movie. But they can also be good when you have a talented director. And here's what we have here, a really talented director. A lot of the jump scares I don't expect. They come out of nowhere. They're very absurd and weird. They have some very interesting visuals at times. And so they're very unique and they're very well paced, edited. The sound design to this movie was great with that kind of thing. It really did a good job of making you feel tense. And also, it helped to the character of this movie. The character of this main character is actually a very likable main character. She's a person who likes helping people. And then over the course of this movie, because of her job being a doctor and helping people, she inherits this curse. And now she's losing her mind slowly. No one believes her. And her backstory with, family and stuff. It just led to a very interesting main character that I really enjoyed watching. And then it's like the performances were good in this movie too. I think where this movie falters is really just, again, like I said, it is kind of generic. Not a big problem because it's not overly generic. It just is not as super in your face positive as uh, when it comes to being its own original thing. It's kind of just it is its own thing, but it's also very similar to other things, and that's just something I think everybody who watches this movie, who's seen The Ring, who's seen The Grudge, is just gonna notice. But the other thing I want to say about the movie is this movie's too long. Uh, this movie is 2 hours long, and it's got a lot of damn jump scares. It's like I don't want to watch a movie that's 2 hours long with a bunch of jump scares. If this movie had been about an hour, 40 minutes, hour and a half, fine. 2 hours? That's ridiculous. Because, I mean, they could have trimmed so many of these scenes, because so many of these scenes don't even matter, and they're just jump scares. And you're like, well, okay, how many times are you going to do a jump scare? It almost, at some points, if this movie had gone any longer, it might have gotten comical, because this movie had so many jump scares. Otherwise, this is a pretty solid, fun horror movie. It's not great. It's just kind of a movie that does what it needs to do successfully, but I think could lead this director who directed this movie, it's his first film, if it could lead this director into better things, because this is kind of his proof of concept of what he can do with the movie. Then you give him another movie with a higher budget maybe, or something, or more control, and he could probably make something even better. This is a pretty good movie for what it is. It's just not great, is all.